This isn't just about burnout, though. I mean, it's really about this deeper layer of kind of self-abandonment. And it's how we learn to just kind of get through as women and keep all the balls in the air. But life needs to be more than just surviving. Like we need to, and I was thinking about this. It's like, I don't want to say when how are you really? Fine. No, fine is like a bare basic basement.
It's basic bitch
minimum
version of it. Yeah.
It is. It really is. It's like, I think we need to get rid of that word altogether. Like that should not even be in our vocabulary anymore. So because at this point in life, I want to be fucking thriving. I don't want to be fine. Welcome to Drinks with the Girls. Conversations for women over 40 around connection, change, and the power of female friendship. Living well with stories to tell. I'm Karen, and this is Lisa.
We are moms and solopreneurs stepping into our own, diving into real conversations about things that matter to women in midlife.
We're here to spill the tea on everything that affects women in their 40s and beyond. Topics like loss and grief, changing relationships, launching kids, menopause, and reinventing ourselves in midlife. We are here to tackle it all.
Connect with us through a blend of our lived experiences, our friendship, the memory of our moms, plus a collection of real stories, honest conversations, and engaging interviews that will make women over 40 feel seen and remind them that they're not alone on this journey called life. Let's go.
Hey, beautiful humans. You are listening to Drinks with the Girls, and we are so glad you are here. This is the place where we pour the truth bombs, we have a little bit of laughter, and we give a whole lot of permission. So today we are talking about the F word. We're talking about the word fine. But before we dive in, today I am sipping on a Kavita. Can you see this? Wait, let me get it here. It is a Kavita Probiotic Refresher Sparkling Drink. And I love all the citrus flavors. So this one is tangerine. It's just basically a little sparkling thing. And I did add a shot of vodka.
Well,
so there's that.
Oh, that's a new healthy one I should try. And then you're like, eyes looking away, and I added a shot. Okay, yeah. So
what are you drinking, babe?
I'm going to one-up you on this. It's been a day. Girl, I was up till past midnight last night doing applications for my men's Social Security, rewriting by hand 50 pages of shit that I had already written before that was on a deadline that I had to get done by today. So I am crispy, exhausted, and just in need of an upgrade. So in my
crispy
bougie glass, I have a blackberry citrus, just basic bitch Kroger seltzer. But I have a cocktail shaker with ice, and I have mixed up a version of my famous, yes, I am Tom Cruising it on the podcast, can you hear? My famous After Bahama Mama, which is...
So I love that sound, by the way. Do it again.
Ooh, whoops.
Oh, you're already pouring? Never mind.
I'm like leaking all over my internet cable. That's awesome. So if it fries in the middle of the podcast, you'll know why. There you go. So you see it's kind of that pretty color.
Delicious. So what's in it, Bahama Mama?
It's the After Bahama Mama. Because it's like keeping up the vacation. So it's blue curacao, Midori, pineapple rum, Malibu rum, and there's one other thing. What was the other thing?
We are not fucking around tonight, folks.
No. And something else. I can't remember what else is in it, but I'm like, okay.
Whoa.
It's on. I need a break. So, yeah. So, this isn't about one-upping each other, but at this point, I'm like, no, I need the upgrade. So that's what I'm drinking.
Cheers, my friend.
Indeed. Now, if I can just, go through the podcast without wiping out my computer, we'll all be good.
Yes, please. So, let's ditch the BS. All right, yes, we're going to talk about the emotional toll of saying, I'm fine, when we're really not. We know we're not. We're lying, right? So whether we're saying this in daily life, in our relationships, and since the holidays are upon us, we say it during the holidays, okay? That's what we're talking about today. You know, I'm going to talk about the midlife reclamation because that's my jam these days. And really, your midlife reclamation is where fine ends. Because we all say I'm fine, and I wonder what percentage of the time we actually mean it, right? It's a habit. It's our survival mechanism. We've been saying it for decades, but what does it really cost us? So let's get into it.
I feel like I'm fine is kind of the basic bitch version of faking an orgasm.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Like like the one that's okay to talk about like in mixed company. It's fine. Oh yeah, it was great for me. Right? I'm just saying, it's designed exactly to do the same thing. You are getting zero pleasure out of it. You feel like you are lying through your teeth, but the other person can just do their thing and get out of your face, and you can just go on with your business without having to get into it.
They go on their merry way thinking that you're really fine, and so that really doesn't mean that they have to change a thing, when in fact, we are pushing down our real feelings, thoughts, desires, orgasms, whatever.
Yep.
So, and I have to say, I feel like, and I know this is going to sound dramatic, you're going to say, Karen, where are you going with this? But it is one of the most dangerous phrases that a woman can say. I'm fine.
Yep.
Right? And I know that, and plus, like I said in the little intro, the holidays are coming. So this is going to hit doubly hard because we are rarely really fine. Okay, and the reason that I'm going to stick with me on this, the reason that I think it is so dangerous is because we start doing this. We start, people asking us and we say, I'm fine. And what we're really doing is we are pushing down everything that makes us us, whether it's our thoughts, our feelings, what we really need, what we really want, right? And the more we do this, the more disconnected we get from ourselves.
Yeah.
And the more we don't know who the hell we are. So then we get to midlife, we're in our 40s, our 50s, beyond. We look in the mirror and we're like, who the hell am I? And it's because we've been pretending to be fine for decades and not speaking up about what we really want. In the bedroom, wherever.
Yep.
What do you think?
And then resenting that. No, I agree. And it was interesting because I was speaking to a friend of mine who's a fan of the podcast. I'm not going to say her name because I don't want to call her out. But she had some really good feedback on a lot of stuff. And one of the things she said was like, I just don't relate to the good girl thing that you guys talk about. Like, that's never been my experience. I was like, I love it. Controversy. Tell me more. Right? And she's like, I just never felt the pressure to do that. But what she does relate to is the fact that she was in an impossible marriage for years where he did nothing and she did everything. And she did an experiment. And she basically just didn't ask him to do anything at all for a year. She did everything. The taxes, the this, the that, the other. And she's like, I was like, tell me about that. And she said, well, I wanted to see if anything would change. Like he would step up, like whatever. Or if truly, like I was done. And she was done. So I think the reason I'm saying this is because that's a whole I'm fine thing, right? Like in her mind, I know because she's a powerful, awesome, smart woman. And I know she's like, I'm fine, this is fine, I'm fine, it's fine. And then she was like, am I fine? And she's a scientist at heart, so she tested that hypothesis in real time.
I love that.
And decided, you know what? I'm not fucking fine. And this is not acceptable anymore. And it doesn't even have to be like, I'm going to get a divorce. It could be, right? But this idea of, at least for me, when I say it, to me, every time I say it, I feel like I die a little inside because I'm like, I'm lying to people. But at the same time, I just don't want to open myself up. I don't care enough to like tell people how I'm really doing. I don't really want to talk about it. Like, I'm just like, oh God, I don't want to be an open wound right now. Like, great. Yeah, terrific. Okay, let's move on.
For sure. Here's what I know. And I only say this as a 57-year-old woman who's like lost her estrogen.
With that in mind, and a shot of vodka in her seltzer probiotic. Set the stage.
I don't give a shit what strangers or even acquaintances think. So if people on the street or people, whatever, ask me how I am, yes, I'm fine. Because like to your point, I don't want to get into it. You don't get access to me. I don't need to really share all the things with you. But where we cross into that dangerous territory is when we start doing that with people we love, specifically, and like to your, the story about your friend, in relationships. And we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. I work with women who are either considering or in the thick of divorce. And that's certainly part of it. I just think it gets dangerous because we start disconnecting from ourselves, and also it is unhealthy because when we start suppressing our feelings, that takes us into dangerous territory, just in terms of our health, our anxiety, our sleep, so many things, because we're not really sharing the things that we need to be sharing. And granted, it is easier for us, and I know this is what we all think. It's easier to do things ourselves. It's easier just to handle things ourselves. It's, literally then, like you said, like getting into it, like having these conversations, like, talking about all the things. It's like, never mind, I'll just deal with it. And that, I think that's what we do as women. We just put our head down. We talked about this before on the podcast. Put your head down and just get through it.
Yep.
Right.
And we actually talked about this on our holiday episode last year. We talked a lot about this idea of kind of the myth of the perfect holiday and like, what that entailed and this and that and the other, right? And we talk a lot about how both of us kind of had to reconcile with our traditions and our expectations of what we had for ourselves and like what our families really wanted, right? And I mean, I won't ruin the episode for everybody, but like, spoiler alert, they don't give a shit about a lot of the things that you think they do, right? And so the whole I'm fine, like, let's have a freaking Norman Rockwell Christmas or whatever, it's kind of like the head trash, But I feel like it's a slippery slope between I'm fine and I'm up till 6 a.m. like wrapping presents and,
Well, yeah, that's the thing, because I was thinking of this too. Like, how much of this do we put on ourselves? Like, how much of this are we doing to ourselves? Because, and let's use the holidays as an example, right? We're trying to make this perfect scenario. We're trying to, the Hallmark movie channel, which I don't watch, but I'm pretty sure it has the depictions of like these idyllic situations and these perfect things. I mean, shit, just look on Instagram, right? Or any social media during the holidays.
Yep.
And we start to feel like there's this, this imaginary bar that we have to reach. And it takes a toll on women.
And I think I talked about this last time, but like my family does this, like traditionally has done this like whole Italian like thing, Feast of Seven Fishes and this and that and the other. And, it was like weeks of doing stuff, before I was born, and it's kind of fizzled down like after my mom passed. And so now it's down to like the Feast of the 2.5 Fishes, right? But I'm still in the kitchen, like doing all this stuff. And I told Martin last year, I'm like, I'm not doing this by myself again, And then I was talking with my cousin. She's like, you do realize there was like 12 grandmas for 2 weeks slaving over a hot stove. So you're doing like the work of 12 people. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, no wonder I'm exhausted, right? My dad's in the other room going, why aren't you spending any time with me? And I'm like, really? Are you for real now? And then I was like, the kids don't give a shit. So magically my cousin moved here, so I don't ever have to do that again. So I'm really excited about that. We're planning like who has what holiday again. Do you have any idea how excited I am? It's like, yes, finally, not another lame holiday where it's just like this tiny like version of what it used to be. So at any rate, but I digress. Do I? I guess I do.
And let me say too, because that brings up something for me. I think hosting, I used to love hosting. Thanksgiving was my favorite holiday. Mm-hmm. I loved it. I don't love it anymore. And because to your point of what you talked about, with your dad, it's like, because when you're the one busting your ass trying to make the magic for everybody, trying to get the turkey and the mash, get everything out at the same time and all the things, you're not visiting with anybody. You're not relaxing. No. You're not enjoying. You are busting ass. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And yeah, maybe that's an estrogen thing too. I don't know, but I just know that for me, it doesn't bring me as much joy as it used to. It just brings me more stress. And so, guess what? I've nixed it. Well, this year I'm just having my kids and Tony's kids for Thanksgiving, and that's something that hasn't happened in decades.
So you would have like more of the extended family around, kind of a thing. Usually.
Yeah, I would have all my family and whoever was available, sisters, nieces, nephews, sometimes friends. So it was like a bigger event. But this mama's tired.
Yep. Now, are you doing the thing where you have it the week before Thanksgiving so people see that? Okay, that is the holiday hack of all freaking hacks, people. So share this for our listeners that weren't joining us the last time around, because I was like, that's the best idea ever.
If you're divorced or if you have children that are married, like I have both of those things, you have to, because there's no way that, especially Thanksgiving, at least like Christmas or Hanukkah or something, you could spread it out. But, no, there's only one Thanksgiving day. And I mean, honestly, I don't even think, I think I'm going to do a brunch this year, actually,
Ooh,
to be honest with you.
You're going to have like turkey casserole?
Yeah. Turkey will not be on anywhere to be seen. No. No.
Wait, are we talking Christmas or Thanksgiving?
This is Thanksgiving. Yeah,
okay.
This is Thanksgiving.
Okay. So you're not going to do turkey on Thanksgiving?
I don't think so.
All right.
I think the only one that's going to protest is my son. So we'll have to see how that goes. If he wants to make the turkey, then maybe. I don't know.
Go with God.
Anyway, we're going down that rabbit hole. My name is Karen Shatafian, and I am a shameless coffee addict and empowerment coach for women, and my love language is authenticity. My mission is helping women unapologetically design a life they're in love with. Because what the hell are we waiting for? My website, KarenShatafian.com, has all my coaching packages and free offers like my Midlife Reclamation Guide. In it, you'll find tools to help you decide how to create the most inspired and empowered version of yourself and your life. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram talking about ways women can show up for themselves after decades of showing up for everyone else. Join me as we throw off the shackles and live our best freaking lives. See the show notes for all the details. Cheers. I think the point of it is when you get to this stage in life, you have to recognize those places where you're tired, where you're done, where you're just like, this isn't working for me anymore. Yep. And you have to be okay saying, yep, I'm not fine. But I think something else that happens with us, and this is also part of girl conditioning, is that you have this idea of what should happen. And also you have this idea that you need to be in control and perform. We have to, do everything at this high level, and I have to have all the balls in the air, and I have to do it well. I'm not allowed to drop any. And guess what? I'm not allowed to ask for help either. So I think there's all these other elements that just go into it, and it makes women feel like, and by the way, this is societal conditioning. There's nothing wrong with you. If you get to like me, if you get to 57 and you're like, I'm done hosting Thanksgiving. Maybe it's just this year. I don't know. But you're allowed to not be fine about it.
Well, I think you get caught in the trap of like, the women are the keepers of the holiday magic, right? And it's just you and Pinterest in that boxing ring. And God damn it, it's going to be perfect. I
don't know how Martin is, but in my experience, although I've gotten pretty lucky with Tony because he's a great little elf, but sometimes not everybody has the same investment at making the holiday magic as you. So if you don't do it, it doesn't get done. And that's hard when you have little kids. Like, you're like, no, we're doing all these things because, God damn it, they're going to have, gosh damn it, they're going to have.
What, you're like backing off from that? I think we're a little past that one.
I don't like to say, I don't like to use the word God when I cuss. I don't know.
All right, let's fucking go.
And I'm not really like a religious person at all, but I don't know.
All right.
Sorry, God.
The battle line has been drawn.
There it is.
When they're little, it's a little different. I mean, yeah, I would agree with that. And I can remember, I was talking to my cousin about this the other day, like the Thanksgiving after my mom died, because she passed away, actually, the anniversary will be in a couple of weeks. Thanksgiving was like a month away, and we had the worst Thanksgiving ever. It was so depressing. Like, I think we got takeout and just like watched Thanksgiving. I mean, it was so awful because just the
That
contrast
sounds
between
beautiful
what it
to
was.
me.
Well, I mean, for me,
But I know.
it's always been this contrast of these big family gatherings where everybody was bringing something. It was this whole big thing, like tradition back to when I was tiny, to nothing.
Yeah.
And that's a hard place to be. So, but I'm super excited that I have someone to kind of, and Martin's been great. Like, he'll cook, he'll do whatever. I mean, the last couple of years, to be honest, it's been, he babysits my dad and I'm doing the other stuff, but that's not enjoyable either, So,
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. So this isn't just about burnout, though. I mean, it's really about this deeper layer of kind of self-abandonment. And it's how we learn to just kind of get through as women and keep all the balls in the air. But life needs to be more than just surviving. Like, we need to, and I love how you brought up the orgasm piece earlier, because I was thinking about this. It's like, I don't want to say when how are you really? Fine. No, fine is like a bare basic basement.
It's basic bitch
minimum
version of it. Yeah.
It is. It really is. It's like, I think we need to get rid of that word altogether. Like, that should not even be in our vocabulary anymore. So because at this point in life, I want to be fucking thriving. I don't want to be fine.
So if I can bring it back to the great philosopher T. Swift, whose album just dropped this week, not this week, when we're recording it, I should say, if you've been living under a rock. But this whole album is literally about that. Like, this whole album is literally about, like, I was fine. I just kind of kept my head down. I just figured, like, it was in it for me. And then this, like, amazing person came into my life. And then I got successful and I own my music and da-da-da. And, like, life is just so different now, right? But she talks a lot in the lyrics about, like I'm thinking of the single she has out now, but it was like, I basically settled on me, myself, and I, which there's nothing wrong with, and was just kind of like, yeah, I'm fine. And then once she didn't, all these other wonderful things happened. So I do think there's a bit of that too. Like, it's that version of like, okay, if I say I'm fine, it can't get worse, right? That's always me. Like, we always talk about my obsession with the other shoe dropping. Like, if I don't get out of bed till the absolute last second and I work in bed, there are less chances that shit is going to hit the fan. So I think that there's a big element of that. Yeah, I'm not saying things are awful, but they're not going to get worse either if I say I'm fine. That's an interesting perspective.
I think it shines a light on this whole other idea that, we're kind of as women, and if you have a family, you're kind of holding the family together. You're not really allowed to not be fine. I think we have
100%.
we have in our minds that we're not allowed to have a breakdown or need help or think something is bullshit or want somebody else to do something for a change.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think it's this whole idea that we have to kind of bust through some of this conditioning that we've all had for decades. And that's why it feels like we're doing something wrong, because literally it's been what we've done for decades.
Yeah.
So by the time we get to this stage in life and we're like, wait a minute, that doesn't feel good anymore. We have to give ourselves permission to do things differently.
Well, and it was interesting. I was listening to our caregiving episode the other day because, listeners, I get it downloaded to my feed just like you do, and it's always like fun because I come up with the next episode. Because when I listen to podcasts, like, I just throw stuff on my playlist and like things show up, right? And so ours are sprinkled in there, and that's always kind of fun. And I was listening to our caregiving episode, and Karen, you made the point about, I think we were talking about just that kind of friction that happened after your bonus mom got sick, and some of your relatives were like, that's just what you do, right? And I think your comment was something like, it's one thing when you're, it was 50 years ago and you're living in a multi-generational family, and, the older people help take care of the babies because there's no childcare, and then people are there to take, like, it's a completely different thing now. And I really do think that we have not evolved as a society in that area. And what I mean by that is, in our mind, we are still the keepers of that flame. We are still trying to do the 50-course meal and the elaborate holiday and then this and take care of the dad and be the frickin' squeeze cheesing panini generation. And we don't give ourselves that out. We don't look and say like, oh, there was 12 Italian grandmothers cooking this feast for 2 frickin' weeks. Like, hold up. Right? And so it's never really measured by that lens. And I feel like we did an episode on parental burnout and kind of just the level that parents are pushing themselves at now. I feel like we are trying to squeeze all these traditional kind of values and visions and like, you know, in the best of intentions into this like tiny little place that is kind of the space that we have to do that in now. And people, there just ain't enough room to stuff that in there, right? We're not a bunch of farmers, right? School doesn't need to start in September because like we have to get the harvest in. So all these kind of archaic things have kept on, and we think we still have to do all this stuff in what we're given. And it is just completely unrealistic. But our psyches haven't turned that off. Our psyche doesn't say, oh, well, you know, no wonder I'm feeling like this is rushed. You know, this usually involves more people, right? Like we don't process it that way. I don't know. Am I making any sense? Am I rambling?
No, you're not rambling. You're making perfect sense. In my experience, it's just so hard to unhook from the things that your brain tells you quote unquote should be doing, or you quote unquote need to be doing in order to be a quote unquote good wife, mom, woman, daughter, person. Because that involves keeping all the balls in the air and not saying, I'm not fine. I think these 2 balls over here are going to fall any moment and I really need somebody to grab them. Mm-hmm. We don't feel like we can say that. Mm-hmm. Okay, quick pause. Have we talked about the Pod Squad lately?
Oh, the Pod Squad. You mean our email list /VIP lounge /digital wine club?
Exactly. So listeners, if you're not on it yet, you're basically making life harder for yourself when it comes to podcasts.
Like trying to scroll for show notes while speed walking on a treadmill. Wait, what was that link again? Oh, no. Grab the side rails.
Or pulling up that book we mentioned while you're in the Starbucks line and then realizing everybody else moved up 3 cars and now you're that woman.
We've all been there. That's why we made the Pod Squad. You'll get new episode alerts every week with direct links. Easy to listen, easy to share.
And show notes straight to your inbox. So when we drop a life-changing product, book, hot tip, or yummy new drink, you're not rummaging through your memory like a woman searching for her reading glasses when they're on top of her head.
It's organized, it's helpful, it's for you, babes.
So join the Pod Squad. The link is in the show notes. Just tap it.
Snacks, sarcasm, solidarity.
And obviously, fighting the patriarchy.
We write at dawn. Don't make me bust out the sandworms from Dune. Symbolism again, girl. And the hooks.
Girl, you made me snort. Right? I don't do that often, but I do it.
I'm just saying, it's a good metaphor. You throw that hook in the sandworm and you're like 500 miles to the north and you are like, what the hell just happened? We hook into that stuff and it's peace out, baby.
Yeah. I think we can't stop thinking about that now.
We pause for our co-host to get her shit together because her co-host just cracked her up so much she can't function.
The other danger, and I'm going to use that word, in saying we're fine when we're not, or just kind of putting our head down and powering through, is that level of disconnection, but not only from ourselves, from other people. Yeah. Like we're missing out on opportunities for connection, and most specifically, like with our partner, with our friendships, our close friendships, right? Yeah, by bullshitting and saying, oh, I'm fine. We're not opening that door for deeper connection, even though it might take a hard conversation to get there. I mean, leading up to my divorce, this was my armor.
Yeah.
I'm fine. And this is what I was telling myself, and And then once I started getting to that point where, like your friend, I realized I'm not fine. This is not fine. Then I had to get brave and start telling other people. And that is freaking scary.
Well, and that's the point, right? You say you're fine because if you don't say you're fine, then that means you're not fine. And if you're not fine, why are you going through all these motions of keeping up appearances to make it fine? Oh, crap, I'm not fine, and now I have to deal with the implications of that. And so no wonder we're running around faking it. It's like, if you're not ready to deal with the fact that you're not fine, you're not going to go anywhere near that, right? And it's like you talk about your experience. That is a big fucking deal to say, I'm actually not okay. And I am not handling this well. Because then it's like, what do you do with that? Especially if you don't have a decent support system.
Right. Yes. And with the amount of things, both, literal, like jobs, relationships, parents, kids, the things that women are holding, plus all the invisible things that we're holding. If you try to go down that road in one area, like let's say with your marriage or even with maybe a career or a friendship, like I'm not fine, something really needs to change. If you go down that road in one of these areas, it's like, how are you going to have the emotional bandwidth to keep all those other balls in the air? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's a fucking lot.
Yeah.
So let's keep talking about this whole idea of, saying I'm fine or really not saying the things that need to be said, keeping our thoughts, feelings, desires inside, right? Let's talk about that through the lens of the holidays, which ever since I've gotten divorced, like the holidays have been a massive, massive trigger for me.
Yep.
Even 8 years later, honestly. And certainly every year gets easier, but I don't think it'll ever go away.
The holidays are they just ratchet everything up a notch, right? They ratchet feelings of happiness up. They ratchet feelings of like, this isn't quite right enough. And so if things are shaky in any shape or form, it's going to show up. Like I remember when we were teaching overseas, Thanksgiving was always brutal because think about it, right? I lived in India, I lived in Zimbabwe. They don't celebrate Thanksgiving there. So it was another work day, right? So I'd be going to work on Thanksgiving and it was just like, oh my God, I miss my family. Like they don't even sell turkey in this country. Like it just magnified all the things that, I was fine about, but were under the surface and just like, this is some rough stuff, And I remember in Africa, our head of school hosted, I don't know where the hell he got this turkey because there were no turkeys where we were. Like, I don't know if he had it shipped in from South Africa or whatever, but there were no turkeys, right? So he hosted this holiday dinner with like all the fixins that weekend, and all the Americans, of course, came. He happened to be British, so it was very nice of him. And it was just like, a little slice of home, right? But I do think that the holidays are kind of that yearly barometer of like, are we okay? Are we touching base with our family? Is everything okay? Like, touching with tradition. Like, it just kind of forces us to look at things under a magnifying glass and in good ways and bad ways. And that's kind of, I don't know what the stats are. Maybe you do, but I bet you $1 million more divorces happen in January than any other month. Right? Because people are just like, and I'm done, right? It's kind of like the pandemic when everybody was like, I really hate you. And I have spent the last 18 months in the same room with you on your damn Zoom calls when you wouldn't shut up, eating the same takeout, buying the same groceries. And it turns out you're boring as fuck. Right? Like, it's like, if that wasn't like solidified, good luck living in your studio apartment in New York and surviving that, right? Like,
I don't know. As somebody who literally went through a divorce during the holidays, which, you guys,
next level.
I don't recommend that at all. Yes, next level pain, grief, guilt, what the fuckness? Like, I just can't. So yeah, maybe in January when people have gone through that, but let me just tell you, yeah, do not do it during the holidays.
What just out of curiosity, what was the month that, not that like your divorce was final, but when you're like, yep, I'm doing this, we're telling the kids, like what was the month that occurred in?
October, maybe
Fuck
the end of
me.
October. Yeah, no, it was not good, and
Oh God, that's brutal.
I have a lot of residual guilt and shame because it was me. It was me. And that shows you, and if there's any women out there who are in this place where you are considering a divorce, but you haven't really said it out loud yet, it's you know it's inevitable and on the horizon. That was how desperate I was to change my life. Like that was how I put my kids through fucking hell. And I own that. I say I did. I mean, I don't own my marriage falling apart because that was
Nor should
20
you.
plus.
Nor should
Yeah,
you.
no, that was 20 plus years of two people not showing up for each other. But I own the way that it was, with the way it transpired. And that is literally my biggest regret on this earth is the way that went down. Yeah.
Well, but I mean, as your friend, I'm looking at this going, what kind of pain must you have been in to
Yeah.
get to the point where you're like, I don't care if the holidays are going to be hell. I cannot do this anymore. Right?
Yeah.
Because if you weren't in that place of pain, if it wasn't as bad as that, you would have been like, you know what, let's just get through the holidays and I'll deal with it in January. Right? The job search,
Yeah.
the whatever it is. Nobody wants to start something painful then. Like, screw that. I'm looking for a job in the new year. Like, we'll do the bad news in the new year. We'll look at the retirement home for mom in the new year. Like, nobody wants to take that
Yeah.
stuff on during the holidays.
For
So
sure.
my heart hurts because I can only imagine how much pain you were in to get to the point where like, this is going to be living hell, but I literally can't do this anymore.
Well, and it was my dad also. He said, because I had told my dad and my bonus mom, and I leaned on them a lot because I didn't know who else to lean on. And my dad said, and I told my sisters, and he said, you need to tell your kids before they find out from somebody else. So I think he was worried that, maybe one of the cousins would say, oh my gosh, I'm
Yep.
so sorry. I
Yep,
love,
yep.
whatever. And then I fucking panicked. Like, then I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And so, when you're in that space of any kind of a big trauma or a big, transition or a big feeling event in your life, you're not really in your right mind.
You're just
Your
trying
mind
to
doesn't,
survive.
you're just trying to like really literally put one foot in front of the other. So that, that was the whole thing.
So here's the thing, listeners. Like, you know that we show up for you guys, the raw, the ugly, the cocktail shaker of a day. And so, much like I have turned my own difficult experiences of raising kids that are unique and have needs, Karen, God bless her, has taken all this pain that she went through and gotten to the point where she is ready to give back in some specific ways with her coaching. And so if you are over there nodding and being like, oh my God, if I spend Thanksgiving with my current partner, I will drown myself in the deep fryer with the turkey. I don't care. It's that bad. I think she might have something that could help you out that would be a lot less painful than dumping deep fried turkey oil all over you. Just saying.
Oh my gosh, yes.
just setting the stage. Like, for I'm fine. Like, piping hot deep fryer turkey oil, right? So we have a solution.
Okay, yes, I have a solution. But before we really get into that, I just want to normalize for women out there that there are so many women that stay too long in relationships because they've normalized this idea of fine, kind of like what we've talked about, right? They've normalized it. They've made their peace with it. They've resigned themselves to it. and they just think that there's no other option. But there definitely is another option. And about a month ago, my own activation about the holidays, being a divorced woman with kids, right? That was starting to bubble up for me. And so I started thinking about my followers and my people and my community and my clients. And it's like, oh my gosh, this might be bubbling up for them too. So if anything that we've talked about today, if this conversation hit home, or if you're curious about how you can get out of survival mode, whether you're divorced or not, honestly, because I think holidays bring up so much stuff for women in general. If you just need a quick, supportive call or something to be like, okay, how am I going to really get through this? I'm opening my door for that as well. But what I did was I created my holiday survival divorce coaching toolkit. And ba-dum-bum.
That's a lot. That's a mouthful. That is like a lot of power in one package. Holy moly.
But I had to get all those words in there. And the goal is for you to walk through the holidays feeling supported, remembering who the fuck you are, and leaving the season feeling grounded, not gutted. Like I've spent many holiday seasons feeling gutted, and I don't want that for anyone. And so there's the toolkit, which is 4 personalized emails. So we will have a conversation. We will get down and dirty and talk about what's really going on for you. And then I'm going to send you every week 4 personalized email. I'm going to send you a boundary script that's going to help you talk to different people, whether it's your kids, your spouse or ex-spouse, your ex-in-laws, your friends. Because let me tell you, people say the stupidest shit when you're going through divorce. And I can help you navigate that. And I also want to create for you a personalized pep talk. So you have me in your ear at all times. You can, it's an audio file I can send to you, and I can just give you some support when you're feeling depleted. Again, remind you who the fuck you are, why you're doing what you're doing. So you have somebody that you can always hear 24/7 to remind you that, yes, you are worthy of a life that fucking feels good.
Hey there, I'm Lisa Corricello-McDowell, your Midlife Pacific Northwest princess, here to guide you in the art of next leveling your life. I'm passionate about women's health and wellness in midlife, especially for moms parenting kids with unique needs like I do. I truly believe we can learn, grow, advocate, and care for the planet while taking care of ourselves and our families. And I'd love to help you do the same. And I'm beyond excited to tell you about my membership for maxed out mamas just like me, the Empowered Parent Collective. It's a space for parents to confidently advocate for their kids, build inclusive communities, educate themselves, and find balance and support along the way. To find out more about the Empowered Parent Collective, my classes, wellness offerings, parenting tips, advocacy resources, and exclusive Drinks with the Girls goodies, head to nextlevellifewithlisa.com. Let's survive and thrive in the messy middle together.
I have a question. Okay.
Yes.
So for those of us that have not been through that or are going through that, something you said kind of triggered something. So I'm going to bet 99% of the angst and everything that you go through in this process is, how am I going to tell my partner? How am I going to tell my kids? But what you just said was, buckle up for everybody else that you got to tell, and how to survive that. So would you say that was something that was a big kind of out of left field kind of thing for you? Like, am I kind of hitting the rhythm here, where it was like you're focused on telling your kids, telling your partner, and then all this stuff comes at you and you're just like, I was not prepared for this?
Well, I spent way too long trying to have people understand me and have people understand my side, instead of being okay with being the villain, which is hard because that good girl conditioning, hello, pops up. And it took me a long time. I mean, it took me probably 2 years through my divorce to get to the point where I was like, I don't give a shit if people think I'm the villain anymore. I know what went down. I know why I made the decision I made, right? So I just think it's hard to navigate just some of these conversations when you don't know how you're going to feel, number one. And also just to help you do it in a way that helps you feel supported instead of like, oh my God, what am I doing? And then you talk with somebody, a family member, a friend or whatever, and then you leave that conversation feeling worse than when you started. And I don't want that. And so I can talk to women and find out like what are the conversations that you're most concerned of. Okay, let's create a script. Let's create, words, sentences, phrases that you can use to whatever it is you need. Share your experience, set your boundary, tell them to fuck off, whatever. Does that answer your question?
It does. It does. I love this.
Okay.
I think this is such a great opportunity for our listeners.
So this toolkit, it's personalized, but it's something that you do on your own. Like you don't really, after our initial conversation, you don't really need me to facilitate any of it. And in your weekly emails, I will give you tools. I will give you journal prompts, of course. I will give you, boundary setting tools, emotional regulation tools, just things that I know that you will need on your journey. And also, this is tailored to where you are. So maybe you haven't even said the words out loud yet. Maybe you know in your gut, but you haven't even said it out loud yet. Maybe you're in the thick of it. Maybe you're in the middle of it. You're navigating the lawyers and the, custody if your kids are young, the assets. Or maybe maybe you're a year on the other side of divorce and you're just trying to put the pieces back together. Wherever you are in the divorce phase, I got you. Okay. If you need more support, we can add on coaching calls where you and I get on a Zoom call and we really hash it out. We really talk about the things. You feel supported. You say the things. I give you tools, practices, guidance that can get you through the holidays. These are one-off coaching calls. So you can either say, you know what, I just want one to get some clarity. I just want to get a little bit of support. I just need a little shot in the arm. I'm good to go. Or you can have once a week through the rest of the year. Whatever you feel like you need, how you best feel like you need to be supported, that's what we can do. That's what we can put together. But don't wait. Don't wait until the clock strikes midnight on 2025 because once the new year, it's going to we're going to turn into a pumpkin as of January 1st, 2026. These offers will go away.
And I will say that I went to Karen for coaching. That's kind of part of the origin story of this podcast. And I kind of wanted something a little different, and she's really easy to work with on that. I was like, well, I like this, but I need this, and this is my budget, and bloody, bloody, bloody. And she was really great. Like we worked on something that made sense for both of us. So I would encourage you not to dismiss this out of hand and just go, oh, I don't have the budget for this, or oh, well, I don't really know what I'm doing, so it wouldn't like benefit me. I think that I know really that she has a lot of experience in this area. And my wish for our listeners at this point, I mean, I'm sad that you're at this point, but don't go into the holidays like with all this stuff just like dangling around. Like, what have you got to lose, right? It's, 2 more months of I'm fine, and having a nervous breakdown, or getting some professional help to look at this and see where you're at. And maybe, maybe everything will be fine. Maybe you just need to kind of straighten some stuff out in your mind. You won't know, but just ignoring how you're feeling and putting this front up that you are a rock and everybody else is going to break themselves on it is going to destroy you. Just saying.
Some of my clients, I was literally the first person that they were able to verbalize how they were really feeling to. And I'm so glad you brought that up because I am not pro-divorce at all. Like I am not here to make people feel like, oh my God, you have to get a divorce. If I can help you save your marriage, if I can help you figure out ways to communicate with your partner better, to spice up, your sex life, to, kind of hash out the things that are really causing you to feel undervalued or not seen or disrespected or whatever, let's talk about that because I'm here for all women living their best fucking lives, whether that's within their marriage or whether it's making the really, really painful decision to leave a marriage. And the only thing that, we need to do, like if you're listening to this and you're thinking, if you're curious, if you're like, oh, wow, that sounds good, but I'm scared and I don't know, I've never talked to a coach before. I don't know. What does this mean? Believe me, I get that. And also we can get on a free call. Like the first the first time that we talk is free. We just talk about what's going on. How can I support you in this moment? And are we a good fit to work together? And does what I have to offer sound like something that would support you? If not, that's totally fine. I can give you resources. I can, give you other ideas. And if it is, great. We can put together something that works for both of us.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
What do you say to the listeners that's like, okay, free. I could do this, but I don't want to open up all this shit. Like I'm gonna deal with this in January. Like I just need to get through the holidays, and I am fine with saying I'm fine, and then I'll catch in January. Like what would you say to that person?
I offer one-on-one coaching packages. So if you're feeling like you just want to get through the holidays, but you need some support, you need a coach in your back pocket. If I have room on my calendar, then I would be happy to talk to women who, are interested in one-on-one coaching. Yeah, it doesn't have to be now. Like I said, I don't recommend necessarily uncovering this, taking the lid off of this right now, right before the holidays. What I do recommend is getting honest with yourself and getting some freaking support. Because not only are you trying to hold all the things in your life, your family, your career, the people you love, the holidays are coming, and then you have all of this other big shit that is going on with your marriage. So just get some support. That's what I'm saying. So, listeners, whoa, I feel kind of emotional after this one. Or I feel kind of like, whew, this was a big one.
Well, and
but,
give yourself a break. Like, okay, you're literally trotting back over the territory of one of the most difficult times in your life. Frankly, offering to hold listeners' hands that are going through something similar and re-traumatize yourself all over again. So, yeah, I think that would make one emotional, but the good news is you're on the other side of it. And I think that, I mean, listeners, I don't know, for me, when I talk to kind of so-called experts, yes, I want someone that's removed from the situation that can give me good advice. But at the same time, I don't want to be analyzed. Like, I don't want to be picked apart by someone that really hasn't been through what I've been through, looks at it from the outside. So to me, like, this is the real deal, and I'm sure it wasn't just this holiday season where you're like, that's it, I'm done. I'm sure you had that conversation in your head for years before that in different kinds of times.
Yeah, that was all the times I was convincing myself I was fine when I wasn't. He's a good guy. You should just be grateful. Mm-hmm. You're fine. This is what marriage is. You signed up for this. What about your vows? What about your kids? I mean, just all the things. And so I don't take it lightly that women are saying these same things to themselves, but they have this ache in their gut and they know that they cannot be their happiest, most expansive self within their marriage. Then I get it. I see you. Mm-hmm. I see you.
I love it. I'm here for it.
So listeners, and you know what? Also, the reason I also feel a little more tender is I had my ex mother-in-law's memorial service on Saturday.
Oh, that is tough.
Which I went to, and literally talk about opening the lid. So listeners, I've been divorced 8 years, and this stuff does not. I mean, it gets easier certainly, but unless you deal with it and you go through it and like work through it, it doesn't go away. I've done some work on it. It definitely gets better. It gets easier. It's just not easy.
And, I mean, it's still your kid's grandma.
Oh, for sure. Oh no, that was a no-brainer whether or not I was going to go, because she and I actually had a good relationship up until the divorce, and I needed to be there for my kids. Like, I was not going to let them go through this major loss and not be there at least for for part of it. Yeah.
But I'm sure that was kind of difficult to wrap your head around, right? And I mean, I can imagine that listeners that have gone through that, like, just because you're divorcing someone doesn't mean, like, especially if you have kids together, that it's like, that's it. And, you know, I mean, and I'm sure that impacts decisions, right? Because you're very aware that, like, you're choosing this path and there will be funeral services where things will be difficult and awkward and all that. So I can imagine.
Oh yeah. If you get a divorce from somebody and you have kids, yeah, don't think you're never going to have to deal with them again, because you will. You'll have to deal with them and you'll have to deal with all your shit around that. So, you know, it's not an easy path. It might, you know, and I think this is what we tell ourselves. Oh, it's easier just to say I'm fine. It's easier just to live inside an unhappy marriage than go down this road. And I know some women believe that, because some women do that. A lot of women do that. And, you know, that's okay. That was not the right choice for me, because I knew that in order for me to live my most expansive life, it wasn't gonna happen inside the marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So, listeners, thank you for joining us on this ride. I hope that if you are, you know, nodding your head, if you are, you know, resonating with what I'm saying, if you're having questions about your marriage or you're anywhere, you know, on the journey of divorce, let's get on a call. I'm happy to support you in whatever way I can. And for everybody else, I hope that you were able to walk away with, you know, something from this episode, if nothing else, to stop saying I'm fine.
Yeah. And I mean, just because the holidays are coming up and we're kind of getting to that season, just take a drinks with the girls breath for a minute, right? Like, I mean, I don't have to make the handmade cannoli shells. No one's going to die. Okay? Karen always laughs. That's like my go-to phrase, right? Is someone going to die? No. Well, then it's not that big of a deal, really. Like, yes, you can order them from the bakery and everything will be just fine. So, kind of give yourselves the permission to just kind of look at what you've got in front of you and make sure that you're making decisions in real time and not just because it's stuff that you think you have to do.
Yeah, you can have brunch for Thanksgiving without a turkey.
Turkey chilaquiles in the morning. Just saying. All right, listeners, as usual, like, share, comment, sign up for the Pod Squad. Please. Get the show notes delivered. It's awesome. And I am reaching the end of my cocktail shaker, which probably means we should wrap this sucker up. Yes. Empty cocktail shaker. I don't need a timer. Just when the cocktail shaker is empty, it's time to peace on out.
We should use the cocktail shaker every time.
Love it.
So if you know a woman, if there's a woman in your life who you feel like could benefit from this episode, please share with her. Send it right to her inbox. And if you're on part of the Pod Squad, that's really easy to do because it'll show up in your inbox and all you got to push is forward to your bestie and easy peasy lemon squeezy. So we will see you next time. We thank you. We appreciate you. And I will say cheers. Cheers.